There's a difference between a father and a daddy. There's a difference.
Between who and who?
A father and a daddy. Many people are fathering children.
So
not everybody. You
are
a daddy. Because the way you have been speaking, you are a zaddy.
You are a zaddy.
Not even a daddy, a zaddy.
After you explain that later, we'll go outside.
For example, somebody at 36, at 37, at 25, at 10, at 12, discovering that the man you've called your father all your life suddenly is no longer your father. Such a child will find it difficult to trust somebody else.
You just talked about politicians that are mad.
We don't use the word mad again.
Okay, they are meant. Thank you.
DNA tests should be compulsory at birth.
Yes, I strongly believe it should be. The Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what shall the righteous do? It's still at the foundation stage. So if there is going to be any rancor, let it even be when the child has not grown to experience the trauma that may carry. And I think introducing that will also create this awareness across board that you had better be careful what you do before marriage. I believe it's not just a question of just running to the National Assembly to enact a law. In doing that, all stakeholders need to sit to understand the implications of these things, and that is where we get it wrong as a country most times. At times we just come up, we just make laws. Okay, let everybody be doing DNA at the point of birth, but they have to sit down to understudy the implications, in as much as it's very good, but at the same time understand from the perspective of the church. In fact, the church has a place in this.
When we're talking about paternity testing at birth, to a very large extent is speaking directly to the very foundation of a relationship, because people will be looking at it, doesn't mean my man or my woman, don't we trust each other? But I also think in the light of what is happening, the trend, and coming from a professional mental health professional, we can actually forestall a lot of heartache and heartbreaks. For example, somebody at 36, at 37, at 25, at 10, at 12, discovering that the man you've called your father all your life suddenly is no longer your father. Such a child will find it difficult to trust somebody else. In fact, in their dealings with other people beyond romantic relationships. So I think if that will be in place, it also forestall people. I know that there's a standard policy. As they're taking my blood for antenatal, they are going to take samples for. So to maybe serve as deterrent for people not to venture into multiple sexual relationship with people. And if you know you are not sure, you probably start to deal with the issue, have an issue. So I think that probably would cure something, we forestall some issues. I'm a therapist myself, and I tell people, because we live in a broken world, we can't have a broken world without broken people. So even without paternity fraud, a lot of issues already are with us. Damage people damage others, hurting people hurt others. So for me, even without paternity fraud, everyone should go for therapy. Just like going for physiological medical checkup once or twice a year, we should go see a therapist, to go see ourselves for a mental health checkup, which is what I advocate, and that's what I do for life and for living. So when an issue like this occurs, the first place, in fact, the first thing to do, especially for the man and for the child, is to take them for therapy and for counseling, and for the woman as well.
Not having DNA test as being compulsory at birth. I believe in law. I'm not a lawyer, but if it's not a law, it shouldn't be done, because there are bigger issues. There's genotype, for God's sake. Some people are AS or SS. Or SC, the thalassemias. And this person doesn't even know the hallmark implication. So those tests, if we are not making them even compulsory. See, I like the fact he brought about this church religious perspective. Some of the Christian doctrine have gone as far as the pre-counseling stage, the 3 months or 6 months, depending on the church where you are, and then rule out all the tests. So there are tests that we should actually holistically look at. Not necessarily DNA on its own. Genotype should be there. Check your kidney, check your liver, check all those things. Those things, if we are going to say let's do DNA, let's make sure all these other tests are compulsory.
Yeah, speaking about all the other big medical issues, yes. But if we have it as a process foundationally, a lot of issues will be solved from start. So I think that, like he mentioned a point which I like, not doing it because of trust, but doing it as a process. So I can merge your point and both of your points and say, as a nation, can we have all of this sorted from the beginning so that we have some kind of peaceful, kickstart of a family? It's not like when you hear, like you said, when you hear about TV show or you read something online, you run and say, let it not be my own case. So, you're looking on like you're judging your brother or your sister. Their family is in chaos. And your own.
I supported the motion for it to be
Done at birth.
Like he said, as a process. Because at the end of the day, if I, as a woman, I know that in the hospital, as I dey born, they go do DNA test. It will curb so many things.
It will.
Even baby exchanges in the hospital.
Yes,
will reduce.
Even in the hospital.
A madman that is naked on the street, the shame goes to the family. The madman is not aware that he's naked. So, and when I got married, I'm a Catholic, before the pronunciation, you must have to do 3 tests and the woman must do 4 tests. 1, you must do your genotype, blood group and HIV. You know your status.
Yes.
So woman must do pregnancy join. So from that spot, they know that yes, this one was never pregnant before. Believing that your husband should be the one that's going to be responsible for your pregnancy moving forward, afterwards. So, but if you go to the level that at the end of the day, the husband that's supposed to do the job is being done by one person by the side. Who is responsible? They say best man. Best man is responsible. Best man is the one that pregnanted your wife. From the hospital, as your wife is entering the hospital, is already aware that DNA test is waiting for me.
Yes, now.
So to enter that hospital, she might run away. She might not really enter the hospital.
So first, before you start doing things like that, you must first eliminate quackery. You must eliminate, reduce, if possible, corruption. Because the truth is that even if you say these are the designated institutions that people should go to, we know what the system is like. Somebody will go and bribe a
living death of the hospital.
Do you understand?
Out of the place.
So when you say it's statutory to do, you will start seeing DNA tests, like the way we used to have COVID tests that were
They'll be doing the job by the roadside.
By the roadside. Come, let me print out negative for you. You go and use it to board. Meanwhile, this person is positive, and the plane has almost 300 passengers. That means we are already exposed. That we will now start doing contact
That's why
tracing.
we should criminalize
So
it.
those are
Fraud
the
is
things.
fraud.
Okay, now you are joining.
Yeah.
A man should take care of the child regardless of the outcome of the DNA test.
Yes.
100%.
Yes,
100%. 100%.
It's only Mazi that's against.
100%.
When 2 elephants are fighting, the grass suffered. That child didn't ask to be born. The child might not even know what DNA is or anything. So that child is the casualty. So if as a father you already have a bond with that child, or you are human, you just need to know that. See, I will support if you say you want to throw the woman out, you want to divorce her, you want to do anything, but the child. Man. My name is Hope Agiama. I am the lead marketing and customer experience manager for your BizEdge Limited, a data analysis training and consulting company. Paternity fraud is not restricted to a particular sector of people. Once somebody finds out that the child is not theirs, I don't think that is what they will be thinking about, payment or getting the money. I feel like that would be the last thing on everybody's mind. If it's in the case where maybe the woman has been embezzling from somebody, because you don't necessarily have to be married to somebody in order to commit paternity fraud. So if it's a situation where maybe she's been benefiting from child support and all of that, yes, I strongly believe that she should pay in damages. But if it's a situation where there was no financial benefit at all, I don't think so.
Children, they should be respected. And so in respecting them, we must be mindful of their mental health, keeping them mentally healthy. And paternity fraud is something that can damage a child even before they discover their personality. So, you know, a child at 2, 3, 4, 5, working out to develop who they should be, and then you bring that kind of traumatic situation, the child may not even understand it at that time. But by the time it hits them, are we not having issue? We just talked about politicians that are mad.
We don't use the word mad again.
Okay, they are thank you. Mentally unstable. So it starts from somewhere, and then it just begins to grow like an elephant. Let them know the true situation, but embrace them in love.
If you put a goat and a lion to sleep in the same room, then it means that the goat will be awake all night. So if you look at it very well, that's you completing it. That's if the goat is alive. Knowing fully well that this is not your son, biological son or daughter, and you say, don't worry, take care of him. At a point, it will always resonate with you that this person is not my direct child. We are all human beings. I think I should be working as a psychiatric then. It's not you. Yes, because if I see most of these things, this Hope is not my daughter. And Hope is sitting with me in the same room. And we're just talking like father and daughter. At a point, something would ring in my head that the person you're talking to is not your daughter. So from that onset, from that beginning, immediately you notice, let us share the grace. So everybody, let's share the grace. Yes, share the grace. With time, you're going to be healed. That's taking care of what we're talking about. The same thing now. Me, the way I am.
I don't want to see this child anymore.
Yeah.
But you still.
So what is taking care of?
I don't know.
You're paying school fees, providing food, doing everything. So what is this?
With the child's absence.
Absence, exactly.
Or you don't want to do it.
Or you don't want to do it.
Okay, so I don't want to do anything.
Can I come in here? Can I come in
Take it to the father, take it to the father. Let's share the grace.
Let's share the
Everybody
grace. Pass the basket around for offering.
But we also need to look at it critically from this angle. We are talking about the mental health of the child or children.
So mental health of the father does not matter.
I'm supporting you. For the first time, I'm supporting you.
Oh, for
the first time, I'm supporting you in the sense that we are all respect the child. I'm a mental health expert or professional. I appreciate that. But at the same time, the first victim, the first receiver of the bomb, is like somebody giving you a grenade. The man's mental health at this point in time is critical.
Messed up.
It's messed up. Some people can even resort to suicidal ideation and things like that. So I think it should depend. It should depend on the reality on ground. Maybe the father is even fighting for custody.
You know, funniest part of it.
So why should I be
if this man
trying
is
to
the
hold
real
the man?
father of a child that you are not seeing,
So why should I be
Not me.
If he is the man, if he is the real father,
carry his child and go and nurse and take care of.
Children are very, very, their mental health is not as big as that of a father now. If you take the child, no, hold on, I'm coming. When I finish, you know, I told you I'm supposed to be working with you. So if you take the child now and say, take the child and say, this is your father, that person is not your father. With time, they will heal faster than the man. They don't heal faster than the man.
Look at children as children, not as small adults.
Yes.
Children are children, not small adults. I don't know what there's a difference between a father and a daddy.
So somebody, a child
there's a difference between a father
that is the same way that
and
they
a
will
daddy.
adapt to speaking language.
Everybody
can daddy a child. Mubasa, why is there adoption?
And so when you adopt somebody, is that person that you adopted not going to be
that
as
one,
your sibling?
no, when it comes to
don't take it as a
adoption,
father.
full knowledge.
Yeah,
It's your full knowledge.
It's a choice. No,
The child might not even aware that he or she was adopted.
But they will
But
tell
you
the
tell
child.
them.
By law, you have
So
to
we
tell
are
the
bringing
child.
this balance here.
By law, you have to tell
By
the
law, you
child.
tell the child you are
Not everyone
adopted.
understands that law.
But the
Some people
truth
don't
is
even
that
tell.
legally you adopt a child, you have to let
But
the
normally,
child
legally, you have to tell the child.
Who is going to tell the child? You.
From the orphanage now, every.
You know, if the man goes to play away and bring the child. Now let's
No,
enter that place.
No, we are talking about paternity fraud.
There's a difference between a father and a daddy. There's a difference.
Between who and who?
A father and a daddy. Many people are fathering children.
which one
Not
am I?
everybody is. You are a
there's
daddy.
a Zazie.
Because the way you have been
both.
speaking, you are a Zazie.
You're a
Not even a
zaddy.
daddy, a Zazie.
After you explain that later, we'll go outside.
I'm not explaining. So you are a daddy because the truth is that it's easier, cheaper, healthier to nurture a healthy child than to manage a damaged adult. Period.
Yes.
It's easier, cheaper to nurture a healthy child than to manage a damaged adult.
Who is a damaged
Let
adult?
me pick you up
The-
from
the
there.
thing is
He
that
is a
damaged
damaged
child.
adult.
He's a
He
damaged-
may never heal.
Okay,
damaged
most of them
child.
are damaged
For
adults.
his
I am the
argument,
damaged
he's a
adult.
damaged adult.
Adults.
From the argument.
And from the argument.
Yes, from his argument.
From
he's
his
a
argument.
Let another
Yes.
person be a damaged adult.
When you have been pointing to them,
When you have been pointing, it wasn't properly
In
managed.
as much
Yeah.
as you people are like strongly saying that, oh, I will never allow it, go to your father and whatever. As a man that has bonded with that child, imagine that the father now surfaces. You will see the father, you will say, this child, you are not going anywhere. You might have even decided in your mind.
But what did the
Go.
law say about that? So give
Go
us law
away.
about that.
Any
The
child
father's
born
show.
under
No, my
The
point
father
is
should-
that,
whatever.
like,
Now I want to know
the
whether there's a
father.
legal,
If
so
the
that we can
legal.
beat the
Now,
legal
My
number
point
aspect.
is,
number
if you
one,
see the
at
father
what's the
and
age
man
of the
is not
child?
even
Exactly.
capable
What's the
of
age?
taking
What's the
care
age
of
of the
what
child?
Let's assume that the child is still a teenager. Let's assume that
A
he's-
teenager is already
Let's say
already accountable by
let's
law.
say
You can-
below
accountable.
10.
You can
Yes,
choose.
you can
You
Now,
can choose
when-
your
when the
Let's
child
just say
is
5-year-old.
5-year-old, you
child.
can't give it to a
You can't
stranger.
give it to a
Can't give.
stranger. No,
Can't
legally.
give it to a
honest,
stranger.
No.
But a teenager uncle.
Maybe now one
That's
time
by law
when
at
it comes,
18.
At
Yes.
18, yes, 18
At
you
18,
can elect.
I think you can.
You can elect.